I want to first and foremost, I want to thank everybody who has joined the webinar today.
These are three things that are
whether
great.
you are one SEO client, I'm going to ask that, or you're not. I'd like to just ask everybody if they could put their mics on mute, with the exception of obviously Justin and Ryan, so I don't have to go through that whole muting process. But first and foremost, thanks to the webinar. We like to do these type of activities here at One SEO to bring value to our, not only our clients, but people that might not be our clients that are interested to find out what's going on in the space. I've worked with a lot of the names that are probably coming across the board in some way, shape, or form, and I appreciate the opportunity for us to spend some time talking to you about what I believe is going to be something a little bit revolutionary. So I'm pretty excited that this product and the team at Chiirp have given us graciously their time to be able to showcase some of the aspects of what's been going on in their space and what they're doing and some of the good things that are happening. So I want to give that a big warm welcome to kind of this webinar version of what's in the den with Ryan Fenn of Chiirp and Justin Judd. Guys, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
So, I'm just going to give you a 30,000-foot level view. Chiirp's obviously an automation tool designed to help the home service business capture more leads, connect faster, close more deals. And as we all know right now, there's definitely, it's interesting is that we were just talking about this today with a bunch of different clients. As I look across the board, I see an increase in what is happening with regards to close ratio, booking ratios, and average job, okay, across the board. But leads are coming at a sparsity than ever before. And I think one of the great things that Chiirp does is it helps automate that process that you have in good times and bad times to be able to flow and be able to utilize text messaging capabilities, which we all know if you're ignoring you got a green button in your texts right now on your phone, whether you be on an iPhone or a Galaxy, that means you're trying to ghost somebody. Or you're trying not to care about what that text message is, because 98% of all text messages do go opened within the first 30 seconds. And the stat might even be crazier than what I last saw of it, but it's definitely something that if we're able to provide a solution that automates that from a lead generation standpoint and nurtures it in a much better perspective, I think it's something that I think will help the industry overall. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan and Justin from Chiirp. First and foremost, I just say, hey, listen, give a 30,000-foot background on Chiirp, and then let's dive right into the product and do an overview and then go from there. And then last but not least, we'll open it up for some Q&A, and then opportunities for people to contact you where they might have further questions to provide you a solution to their needs. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill.
So like Bill said, my name is Ryan Fenn. I'm the CEO here at Chiirp. I founded Chiirp about 4.5 years ago. I have Justin here with me. That would be on this side, depending on what screen you're looking at. Justin is head of partnerships here at Chiirp. He's the one that will, if you do decide to want to discuss Chiirp with us, he'll be the one that you'll communicate with as far as learning more about it and creating a relationship between us and your team. So just to give you a quick background so that you kind of get an idea of where Chiirp came from. We're not your typical, Silicon Valley software company that just, got millions of dollars to build a software program. We built this out of necessity, out of need for what we needed for our business. And we've bootstrapped it to a very good company, debt-free and running right along. I used to own a windshield repair business. That was my first successful business when I started out in entrepreneurship about 12 or 13 years ago. And I was doing pretty well with it. I started going door to door, and then pretty soon I was like working out of like gas stations, and then I was in like 9 gas stations and then 10 dealerships, and I got, started to grow like many businesses do. And I saw an opportunity to create a training program on how to start your own windshield repair business. And so I started to put together training videos and kind of created this cool little course. And I started selling that using Facebook ads and text messaging. And I found that text messaging was just crushing it as far as conversion rates go. And so I started to automate. I started to put together some different software systems and figure out kind of this sales flow. And I made, a couple $1 million selling that course through text messaging, and saw that the process was so good that I wanted to create something for other businesses to use that could take that process and use it. And so I created Chiirp, and Chiirp has now become, a many different processes all in one area to help you sell more, and also to help you keep customers for life so that they continue to buy from you over and over again. And I don't mean to talk about any of that to brag or anything like that. It's just to show you that Chiirp has come from literally figuring this out along the way. And so it's from real world application and not from somebody need to be on mute there.
A little bit.
Yeah. John Dean, if you could mute, that would be great. Anyway, so I just wanted to show kind of the process as far as how Chiirp came into existence, that it came from real world experience and not just from, some idea in Silicon Valley. And, a lot of these companies pop up and they don't really have any experience in the space. So a couple of years ago, as we started to build this software product, we found that that home services really became the place we wanted to really focus our efforts, because they were having the most success with our processes. And we found that this was the best space for us to be. And so we focused our 100% of our efforts into bringing this to the home service space, and then also to making sure that it was perfectly and deeply integrated with the existing CRMs out there. We're not here to compete with ServiceTitan or House Call Pro or anything like that. We're here to enhance the capabilities of your existing process. And I'll kind of jump into how that works. Of course, if you have questions throughout this presentation, go ahead and reserve them. Or if you want to throw them in the chat, go ahead. We will answer them. We'll have a Q&A at the end, but I'll kind of buzz through some of the things. Do I have permission to share my screen, Bill? I think we should be good there. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Justin, if you can confirm, you can see the screen, everything's good there.
Yeah, we're good.
Go.
Okay, sweet. So we kind of start off just with some general questions. Why does automation matter? Why should we be thinking about automation? And really, at the end of the day, we're all trying to scale our businesses. We're all trying to grow, and efficiency is the key to unlocking scalability. And automation creates efficiency. It helps us convert at the highest rate. It helps us get the most out of our humans. We're not trying to get rid of humans' jobs. That's not the point here. We're trying to enhance their capabilities so that their time is being spent doing high value things, while automation can be doing the mundane tasks that you don't necessarily need to pay an hourly wage to do. So what is Chiirp in relation to automation? Well, it's the ultimate toolbox, I like to call it, because it's so many different tools within one place that you can use to help you capture more leads on the front end and connect faster with those leads, turn more of those leads into actual closed deals, and then turn those customers into customers that will continue to buy from you over and over again. So here are a few ways we're going to jump in, a few ways that we'll go through kind of the customer journey. As I go through this, we're going to break up the customer journey into 3 chunks. We've got lead conversion, we've got the job, and we've got post-job. So we'll talk about where Chiirp can help you become more efficient in all 3 of those stages. So on the front end, we want to make sure you understand at the beginning that we are deeply integrated with most of the CRMs. And then for those that we aren't, we typically have workarounds like Zapier. And we're further integrated than anybody else out there. We have more opportunities to create automation between the two systems than anybody out there. And so that gives us some really cool ways that we can both trigger things from Chiirp into your CRM, and then also from your CRM to trigger things along the customer journey. So on the front end of the customer journey, there are two really important things that we like to talk about. Keep in mind, as I talk to you about these strategies, that these strategies are fully customizable to how you want to run your business. I'm showing you the ways that a lot of people are successful with them right now, but you don't have to use them the way that I describe them. If you see them and go, oh, I like that, but I want to change it this way or this way, you can completely do it how you want. So the first really important part that we talk to companies about is increasing our speed to lead. So the amount of time that it takes to contact a lead from the time they've requested information. And a lot of us in our businesses can feel like we're doing really good because we'll receive the email, we'll make the phone call, but we don't really actually know the time from the actual real time from when the customer filled out the form to when you actually picked up the phone and made the call. And so this is why it is so important. You can see here, this is a study done by Salesforce, and this is over millions and millions of leads, over millions and many different industries. But the best time for a lead to convert into a job happens in the first minute. So if somebody's on your website, somebody fills out an Angie lead, somebody fills out a site chat, or they scan a QR code on a direct mail piece, whatever it is, however they are submitting their information and raising their hand, the best time if we want to convert them is to contact them within 1 minute of them submitting that information. Okay. And you can see how dramatically the curve drops within just 2 minutes. We're down to 160%. So more than half of our conversion opportunity has dropped. And then at 3 minutes, we're at 98%. Most companies that we talk to find themselves in this window right here. And this tends to be a dangerous place to be because you're still converting and making money. And so it feels good, right? I don't know. I'm sure many of you in your business have been in a point where you're like, oh, everything is working. Don't touch anything. It's working. Don't touch it. And you don't want to like mess with anything because it feels good. And that's where we find a lot of companies to be. And they don't realize that by implementing some strategy, they could be increasing their conversion rate. And the problem here is they can only focus on one strategy going forward, which is to get more leads, instead of going, what can we do to convert more of the leads we already have? And so you want to be operating to unlock that scalability we talked about. You want to be operating at maximum efficiency. What's the best we can do before we work on another strategy, right? And in this case, you can look and see, am I contacting my leads fast enough? And the way that we handle that is through automation. Most companies that we talk to, if they're getting leads from anywhere, and this, keep in mind, this does not count somebody calling in. Obviously, you've got them on the phone. You've already accomplished what we're trying to accomplish here. This is for form fills when they're submitting information. Generally, most companies, what they do is they get an email that says, hey, you have a new lead. And then somebody in the company picks up the phone and calls that lead. And like I said, even though you may be getting to the email quickly, it may have been a couple of minutes before the email even hit your inbox. And so from the time they filled out the form to the time that that you pick up the phone, typically is that we see is about 5 minutes. And that's if you're doing pretty good. And so that puts you in that window here of conversion. So the way that we fix that is by capturing that data instantly from the form, from any direction that form is being filled out, putting it into automation, instantly starting a text message conversation with the lead, and then alerting our team that we have a new lead in the system, and also populating the data into Service Titan or House Call Pro, whatever it is we're using. So a lot of automation is happening in that first 10 seconds of somebody submitting the form on your website or wherever they're submitting the information. This gets us to that point we need to be and contacts your leads within 30 seconds. And now we are operating at max efficiency. We are contacting our leads at the fastest that we possibly can. And so we can rest assured that our conversion rate is at the highest it possibly could be in that case for that one metric. Okay. So that part is super important. Increasing your speed to lead is extremely important. But it's about this. If this is the customer journey, it's that first 10 seconds. So we've got a long way to go still to make sure that we're maximizing our conversion. And so the next thing that we talk about is the importance of maintaining perfect follow-up. This is something, if I had to choose between the two, I would say follow-up is probably more important. Follow-up, everybody's heard it a million times. The fortune is in the follow-up. And so, but most companies just aren't doing it efficiently. And mostly just because it doesn't, it takes just too much time, and it's not really you sales guys and business owners, they tend to want to be where the action is. And so they're focused on closing deals. And if a deal doesn't close, they kind of emotionally let that slide and kind of fall back and go, if he wants it, he'll call me back. And they don't really put in the effort to follow up. So what do we do to fix that? So like I said, this is what most companies are doing. They'll call once, they might call a second time, and that's the maximum amount of follow-up that they're putting in. To get maximum conversion, however, we need to have a system in place that is reaching out to our customers and touching on them at least 12 times. Some people will say 18, some people will say 8. It's kind of across the board. We just say 12 is kind of an average. But if you're not reaching out at least 12 times and not calling 12 times, but 12 touch points, you're not going to be converting at the maximum possible conversion rate. And so the only way that you can really get consistent with that is by automation. And Chiirp lets us do that through 3 channels of communication. We can communicate via text message, email, and ringless voicemail. And the key to that, and the reason we do that is because there's different messages for different messages have different better channels to send them through. That's what I'm trying to say there. So for a more personalized follow-up that's like, hey, I sent you that estimate yesterday, just wanted to follow up and see if you had any questions. That's great for a text message. If you want to send something that is more informational, that's longer, you're going to want to send that through email. If you want to connect with them through voice to drive your message in further and make them feel like you are, really putting the effort in to close the deal, a voicemail can really add that special touch to push them over the line. So a ringless voicemail is where you have a pre-recorded voicemail that just drops right into their voicemail inbox. It looks like they missed a call and they can call you right back. Very, very effective. And I'll show you some other ways that we use ringless voicemail. This follow-up is extremely effective on just leads themselves, and then especially on estimate follow-ups. And this is where I'll talk a little bit about how important the integration is. I'll talk about Service Titan here, but just assume that it's the same with House Call Pro or whatever you're using. And then, of course, if there's one that we're not integrated with, we can talk to you about what it would take to build or to set up the automations. Our deep targeting within Service Titan allows us to choose exactly when we want to trigger the follow-up campaign. So in this case, we can start it right when the estimate is sent, but then we have all these other cool filters below that we can choose so that we can choose the exact right campaign for the exact right customer at the exact right time. So, we have Dustin Miller out of California. He's a $9 million HVAC company, Comfort Now. One of his strategies is he has a very specific follow-up for replacement jobs, high ticket replacement jobs, but he doesn't want to follow up the same with them as he does on a low ticket opportunity. And so with these various tags, technicians, membership levels, business unit, job types, line items, things like that, and then also total range of the value of the estimate, we can specifically choose the right campaigns to start at the right time. And this all happens automatically. So you send out the estimate, Chiirp recognizes those filters and starts the correct campaign automatically. So if they do not convert, the next day a text message would go out. Hey, we sent you that estimate, wanted to see if you had any questions, or whatever the sequence that you want to have happen after that. So nobody takes advantage of the API deeper than we do with Chiirp. We have more trigger opportunities and more filters than anybody out there. So okay, so those are the two really main points of the conversion stage, where we are turning a lead into a customer. And there are obviously other strategies and other things within that, but those are the two I like to talk about in the webinar. And then of course, if you have ideas or things you want to implement, we can always help you implement those strategies as well. So now at this point, we move into the job phase, where we've converted them into a job. And now we're operating at maximum conversion rate here. And now we want to really solidify our relationship with the customer. We want to create some sales opportunities with the customer, and we want to turn that customer into somebody that's going to continue to buy from us over and over again. So now we move into that bucket, and that's where we start to talk about being really personal with our communication. So at this point, we've converted them into a job, and now we want to say thank you so much for booking with us. And we want to be a little more conversational. We don't want to look cold with our text messages. We don't want to look appointment reminder, 2 o'clock, Wasatch Heating and Air. You can see here, hi, Jessica, thank you for scheduling your appointment with Wasatch Heating and Air. Your technician, Brian. Here's your technician, Brian. He'll see you on August 1st at 4 p.m. And there's a picture. We have some members that are sending a link to a video of the owner saying, thank you so much for booking with us. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to providing you with 5-star service, kind of seeding the idea to leave a review and really preparing them for what's going to happen during the job itself. Then we want to create some sales opportunities. For those of you that are selling memberships, we have a really cool opportunity here to help you increase membership sales. We call it our membership booster campaign. And this is where, when the technician is dispatched, and this again goes back to the integration, we can recognize, is this customer a member or a non-member? If it's a non-member, we can trigger the membership booster campaign. And this can send a text message. Hi, Jessica, your technician is on the way. By the way, if you'd like to save some money on this visit, be sure to ask him about our membership program. That frames the conversation so that now the technician isn't having to bring it up. The homeowner is bringing it up to the technician and saying, hey, I got this text message. How can I save some money? And the technician now has an opportunity to present the membership program. Should be an easy win to close sales there. Some people are even starting now to just offer it right in the text message. If you'd like to save some money on this visit, check out our membership program. Here's a link. And there's a link right there. They can watch a video that does a quick pitch on the membership, and they can sign up that way as well. So there's different ways that you could set up the membership booster campaign. Ryan Grimes with Beltway in Maryland sold 700 memberships last year through Chiirp. He had sold 100 the year before, so it's quite a jump. And I have a video, if anybody's interested in watch that, where we interview him on how he did that. It's pretty cool stuff there. And then next, now we've created that relationship. We've kind of solidified our communication, and now we go into post-job. And this is where we are going to request the review, and I'll talk about why our review process is better than most out there. And then what we do to maintain that customer throughout the year. So at this point, we've done a really good job, ideally, and we've communicated with them perfectly all the way through the journey. And now it's time to ask for a review. We don't condone or recommend review gating. You can ask for some feedback up front, but if you're going to ask for feedback, want to make sure that you send the link to everybody. Google can be upset if you try to review gate, which would be, if you liked our service, click here. If you didn't like it, click here. and then, they click the thumbs up and it takes them to leave a review. They click the thumbs down and it's like some fake review page or something like that. Don't do that. But in this case, what we think is really effective is the relationship automation that we've already accomplished up to this point. So we've started the communication all the way here at the beginning, and we've perfectly communicated with the lead all the way through. And then we ask them from that same thread, from a very personal space, thank you so much for doing business with us today. We really appreciate it. We hope we provided you with 5-star service. We'd love it if you'd leave us a review here. We find this to be very effective because now they feel more connected to you as a person. And this is really cool because as you scale your business, it's hard to maintain a down home feel. Most businesses struggle with that. They might start off with like one truck and everybody loves them, you know, and then as they start to scale, people go, oh, they've changed. They've got all corporate and it's not the same anymore. It's really hard to maintain that. And so with this, you're able to do that and you can ask in a more personal way, thank you so much for doing business. Really appreciate a review. And they'll feel that and they'll want to leave you a review. If we send a text message from a random phone number that just says, thank you so much for doing business with Wasatch Heating and Air. We'd love it if you'd leave us a review here. It's less personal. It's got that corporate feel. It doesn't feel like you've created a relationship. You're just they just feel like they're another cog in the process, and that it's just it kind of gives you that corporate feel. So we find that if we maintain the conversation through one thread all the way through, we have a much better chance of getting a review. And then if we don't get the review, we are going to follow up a couple of times over a couple of days to try to get that review. So we'll follow up and say, hey, I know you're busy, but it would really help us if you take 5 minutes to just give us a quick review. And then a lot of times on that second or third text message, you'll convert them into review. And then from there, they're going to drop into the appropriate nurture campaign that will nurture them throughout the year. Filter change reminders, post-job follow-up, quarterly filter change reminders, emails throughout the year with tips and tricks on how to maintain their system. These are all things to not sell, but to keep your brand top of mind so that at the end of the year, when it's time to rebook, it's just automatic. It's like, these are my guys. They're in my phone. I just have to text them and they're going to come out. And in a year, we're going to reach out automatically and say, hey, it's been a year since our last visit. It's time to get on the books. What works better for you, AM or PM? And they say AM, and then you just book the job. Super easy. And now you're creating an asset of customers, a book of business that, is a much, you're not waking up every day and starting over. I got to get new sales, You're building a customer database that is not going to go look for other people, So it makes your business much more valuable too if you ever decide you want to sell the company. So that's the customer journey, the automation part of Chiirp that can really, again, you can customize this to however you want it to look. There are other tools, many other tools that we can talk about that kind of fall under that range of what we're trying to accomplish. And then, so I'll talk about a couple of them, message broadcast being probably the most popular one. This is like instant ROI for anybody that has a business that has any, size of past customers that they have not communicated with in a while. Dustin Miller, I told you about him a little bit earlier. He uses this in shoulder season. If there's any light scheduling going on in shoulder season, he's been using this for about 3 years. He does not have he never has open slots in shoulder season because of this simple campaign. So what he does is if he sees some openings in the next week, he has his shoulder season outreach campaign. He uses our message broadcast system. All of your contacts from your CRM from ServiceTitan are in Chiirp automatically, and you can grab 100 of them. You can grab 200 of them, whatever you want to do. Put them into a campaign. And the campaign
sends out. The therapist that I worked with before, I just don't remember her name.
I'm not sure who that was.
Laura, yeah, sorry. So you can send out a broadcast, and this is his campaign, but you could customize it. His goes like this: a voicemail goes out to the customer that says, hey, it's Dustin with Comfort Now. Just wanted to say thank you so much for being one of our valued customers. We really appreciate it. It's that time of year again. We have 50 slots right now for a quick tune-up. It's only $49 for you. If you'd like one of those slots, just text me back on this phone number. We'll get you on the books. That voicemail goes out to 100 people or whatever he'll choose a group of people he wants to go out to. And then they'll start responding and booking. If for those that don't respond, another text message will go out 10 minutes later that says, hey, my boss, Dustin, just sent you a voicemail. Just want to let you know we've still got some slots available. Let me know if you'd like one. Then he'll get some text messages back and he'll book some jobs that way. And then he has one more for those that don't book a day later that goes out, says, hey, just giving it one last shot. We have a few more slots left. Just want to see if you wanted to take one. That 3-step campaign that he uses with message broadcast has completely filled his shoulder season for the past 3 years. He just watches, oh, I have some openings. Let's pull up, let's do the broadcast. So that's one of the tools that you can just grab and kind of shoot from the hip and do some cool things there. We also have site chat for lead capture, forms, lots of different tools. Here's that's Dustin. So if you want to watch the video on how he teaches us how he does it in this video, I can provide you with that video as well if you'd like it. So just a few of the tools: one-to-one text messaging, automated text messaging, multi-drip campaigns that we talked about, email, ringless, voicemail, text, site chat, forms, review requests, tagging, pipeline builder. So when I say review requests, we have an integration with Google where you can respond to reviews, you can trigger things based on people leaving reviews, one-off scheduled messages, picture messages, that's MMS. We also, within our inbox, we have Google Messenger, Facebook Messenger, text message, email, all in one inbox. So your CSRs can be working in one inbox. We also have integration with Facebook lead ads, Angie leads, webhooks. We can connect to any form. Our service type, we already talked about the service type integration down to the line item level. Automated text messenger, message broadcast. We have a Slack integration that's really cool. The whole idea here is just to create a space where whatever kind of automation you want to build, it's there. The toolbox can make it happen. We have people that say, if a job is complete and the invoice is $10,000 or more, trigger a gift basket with my logo on it to be sent to the customer, and we can automate that to happen so that all the things you want to have accomplished, you don't have to think about them, they just happen. So that's kind of I kind of blasted through that. Typically I'll take a little more time because I'll be answering questions along the way. But Bill, do you want to inject anything there? Do you have?
Yeah.
Go
One of the things, and this is a statement as well as I'm going to ask a question to somebody on the line, because I think it'll tee up a lot of additional questions that come about. And Justin, thank you for sending out the video from Dustin. Just be prepared, you might get hit with a little retargeting at some point in time. But I think one of the challenges that any company goes through, whether it be from a digital agency, whether it be a software as a solution, whether it be a garage door company coming to do their project, whether it be a home service-based business coming to the house, is great on the sales side. Let's talk about the onboarding side. I'm sure that everybody has probably had pulls and tugs with maybe their CRM in some way, shape, or form in the onboarding process. But I think it's important to understand that your particular nature, and I'm going to let you talk about it, but I'm going to call somebody out. One of our clients, and Paul Weiss, DoorServe Pros, out of the West Virginia market, he covers 4 states as a client at Chiirp. Paul, how was your experience on the onboarding side?
From phone call on, Justin helped me out with the sales stuff, and then Taylor He gets back so fast, I'm almost amazed. I onboarded, I think 2 weeks ago, and I think I have 10 campaigns or 12 campaigns running already.
Yeah, I love
I
hearing
love
that.
hearing that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Paul. I appreciate that. So that's a really good point you bring up, Bill. When I started at the beginning, I told you we're not that typical Silicon Valley, venture backed where it's just like we got to sell because we got to make our venture capital company happy so that we can sell our company. And it seems that they're really good at selling, and then you get in the door and then there's nobody that can help you. And I've been against that model since day one. I've wanted to create an environment that is like, hey, I understand the value of automation, but I also understand that this is not for everybody to learn. This isn't something that you should have to learn to be able to implement in your business. Of course, you want to learn the principles and what you're doing, but the setup and things like that, that's for tech nerds, right? And you're an HVAC guy, you're a garage door guy. And so we have automation experts here. That's what Paul was talking about. Taylor, and I shouldn't say tech nerd because Taylor is by no means a nerd, but he's very good at what he does. And so you get an automation expert in your back pocket that you can say, hey, I want to set up this automation. I want to do this, or I want to do this. Maybe you have a really cool idea for a follow-up campaign. And we'll help you implement that and set it up and connect it. And just like Paul was saying, it's done, and we can get back to you very quickly. We can help you build those things. So you're not buying software when you buy Chiirp. You're buying software and an automation team to help you implement.
Isn't that hence the definition software as a solution?
As a service.
So,
yeah, exactly.
But anyways, Paul, thank you very much for contributing that, because I know that anybody that embarks upon something is always concerned about, it sounds great in theory, but how easy is it to implement? And so I appreciate you putting yourself out there and letting us know that you did have a good experience for the team. Obviously, Chiirp's great to hear, as well as what they're doing. One of the questions that I had right off the bat, Ryan, is it's a two-part question. First and foremost, you talked about the 12 contacts over that initial period of time. What's the time frame on the lead gen side? Do you think those 12 contacts should happen? Is it a week? Is it a 10-day standpoint? As far as the way that those campaigns where you've seen the greatest success?
It seems that like the 10 to 14 day range is a good space to try to get, and that wouldn't be all 12 in that 10 to 14 day range. We'd probably have maybe 6 to 8 in that range, and then we'd have like a 2 week and a 4 week, and then maybe even a 3 month outreach, just to try to catch those last few that, so that we're making sure. So I would say you want to be more aggressive in that first 10 to 14 days, because that's when obviously they're the hottest. And you'll be surprised, there's a lot of people that they'll request information from multiple companies, and they will not do business specifically with people that don't follow up. So they'll wait until everybody's weeded out for the person that follows up with them. And so you'll catch those guys. And so that first 7 to 10 days, pretty aggressive, up to 14 days. And then after that, a few more attempts. And then even after that, you can put them into like an annual, hey, you reached out a year ago, and just like still try to get them. It's like, doesn't cost you anything more than a penny in a text message or whatever it is to try to get them a year later until they opt out,
So we had, Justin already took the liberty of answering the question, but I do think it's a question that Aaron obviously raised in the chat. And he said, do you use an AI model to be able to respond to a customer and have a full-on combo? So I don't know, Ryan, if Justin, just for the entire group, maybe they didn't see the chat, if you want to respond to that.
So we don't have an AI built where it's going to completely do the full conversation. You can build, so to be clear, you can build conversations, and we are not, I'm not going to come off and say, oh, it's going to fully book, it's your sales job. We're not trying to accomplish that. And the reason, and we'll probably eventually get as things go, but the conversion rate of somebody, like I said at the beginning, we don't want to eliminate the human from the process. We want to trigger conversations to happen, but we don't want automation to finish conversations for us. We find that the way we're doing it with triggering to start conversations and then having a human finish and close deals tends to be the best. If you do want to automate conversations that ask some questions, that's definitely a possibility in the system, but it's not just an automatic AI system that will, take them through an entire conversation.
A follow-up question from my angle is that, one of the opportunities that comes about after you have a conversation, where you have a conversation with somebody and then, they become a client at Chiirp, is always that, what do I need access to through my Service Titan? Is it just my Service Titan API key that I'll need to be able for Chiirp and Service Titan to connect with one another? What are the things that I'm going to need from you or for you to automatically get my program off to a successful start?
Perfect. Let me pull up. I stopped sharing my screen so I can just get to the right screen here on Chiirp, and then I'll show you how that works and how the systems communicate between each other. Okay, here we go. So it is a true integration. It is not it's not through Zapier. It's a direct integration to their API. And it's a two-way integration. So we can take data from Chiirp and push it to Service Titan, and then Service Titan can tell Chiirp what to do as well. So back and forth. It's pretty simple. On your onboarding, we will connect you. You'll get some Taylor or whoever your automation expert is will walk you through this, but you'll go into Chiirp or into Service Titan, get your tenant ID, client ID, and your API secret. And you'll paste this in here and you'll hit save, and your systems will connect and you'll be good to go. And then that's when you start building the events. So, you can say, all right, when the estimate is created, and if it is a member or a non-member, and if it has this technician or this job type, or the maximum total range is X, do this campaign. And then you'll hit save. And then now when that happens in Service Titan, Chiirp's going to start that campaign. And what's cool is it recognizes when something starts or stops. And so so let's say they're in the estimate follow-up campaign, but they convert. We don't want to keep following up with them because they converted. So it's going to recognize and also stop the previous campaign and start the new campaign. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We do have a question from Roseanne.
Yeah, go for it.
Roseanne?
But I have a question. I saw that it said, hey, how would you like 10 o'clock the next day? Is there some way that you can set the campaign that if they're calling in for a tune-up, they get these technicians, and if they call in for a repair, they get other technicians? And how would it know that?
Okay, take me through the scenario one more time.
Okay, so you have somebody who's contacting the company,
Uh-huh.
and you want to automate it back. And so if they want to schedule a tune-up, we may have this set of technicians go out on that. But if they want to repair, maybe that's a heat pump or, something more complicated, then we want the more advanced technicians to go out. So rather than it just seeing, oh, that technician number one has 10 o'clock available the next day, how can you direct it to which technicians or group of technicians you would want it to be scheduled with?
Yes, you could. There are ways depending. So in a text message conversation, we can recognize. So we can say, is this, what kind of service are you in need of? Tune up, and you can have different words that if they respond with those words, you can then have different responses based on those words. So if you say, is this a tune up, or we would just need some sort of trigger that lets us know what type it is in that text. And then it can respond with a different text based on, and they could have a different link for booking for different things. So there are ways that we could do it. We'd need to get a little more clear on specifically how you want to set it up, but we could help you figure out how you want to do that.
Hey, Ryan, can you maybe show Message Central how they can book straight through Message Central? Because we do integrate, I forget what it's called within Service Titan, but it's something booking. It's how you're able to know what technicians are going to what job.
Yeah. I'll answer one more part of that question. I'll go into that, Justin. The other way, Roseanne, that comes to mind is if they're on your website, we do have site chat right here. And in this case, you could have a drop down here that has multiple different things, and these could be triggers as well for different responses. So if they put sales and they fill this out and say, text me, the right text with the right information could go out with the right, technicians attached to that kind of thing.
Thank
So
you.
there's other ways, and there's other ways you just have to strategize with us and we figure out how to do it. Justin was referring to Message Central here, and this is where this is where you actually have the conversations with customers. This is where your text messages, your emails, your voicemails, your Facebook messages, your Google messages are all happening. This is on desktop or on an app on the phone. I can book right here. If I'm in a conversation with somebody and they say, yeah, can we book tomorrow at 2? The CSR can book right to Service Titan right here. They can choose, and then based on these various things, the right technician would pop up and they can book it. So
If you have capacity planning in Service Titan, our system recognizes that, and that's
what
what
it is?
that's
That
what it's
what it
called,
is?
capacity planning. Yeah.
okay, cool. All right. There's a lot of cool little things here too. We just integrated with a CardX, which is the first ever the first and only compliant way to accept credit cards with a fee to cover your credit card processing fee. So you can actually collect, you can have that triggered through Service Titan to send the invoice to pay the link to pay it. And it can recognize when it's been paid, that kind of stuff. We can send emojis, we can send scheduled messages, we can send images, lots of cool things here as well. And then tags and notes, that stuff passes over to Service Titan as well. So,
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions that are out there, so I'm going to throw it out there one more time. And I know that the last question is going to be mine to ask, but anybody else have any other questions across the board? All right.
So Bill, I typically do such a good job that there's just never everybody's like, yeah, no questions here. I got all of them answered. I'm just kidding.
So with that being said, first and foremost to everybody on the call today, first of all, appreciate you jumping on. If there is anything that you need from obviously One SEO to facilitate conversations with Chiirp, we by all means can make that. But what I do want to do is turn it over to Ryan and to Justin. If somebody has questions about wanting to reach out and contact you, easiest way to get in touch with you.
Yeah, let's talk about that so that you get, the whole process. If you did decide you wanted to get in touch with us and get on board with Chiirp, we'd first want to audit, and talk about your system. So you'd book a call with Justin. Justin will include the booking link in the chat. You book a call with him. And then you can have a one-to-one conversation, tell them about your business, tell them what system you use, and you can go back and forth and figure out if this is going to be a good solution for you. And then at that point, if you do decide to jump on board, we schedule your onboarding, we hold your hand through the whole process so that you get this set up and running. And then as a member of Chiirp, you're not, like I said, you're never just left alone with the software, you're involved. So the cool thing about what we do is we're a no contract company, so we don't pressure you into signing a 12-month contract or anything like that. We do believe in earning your business every month. And so, we know that if we don't provide a good service that you can cancel at any time. And so that puts the pressure on us to make sure that you are, happy and satisfied and actually getting an ROI from Chiirp, and that you have, the contact and the help that you need to build automations in your business. So. All
right.
Justin's just a cool guy. So if you want to just have a conversation with him, I highly recommend it.
Well, we know who the front man of the band is, but we also know who's making it all the magic happen.
That's right. That's right.
Any other questions from any of the audience? Well, with that being said, listen, I appreciate everybody that joined the call today. Roseanne, Bernie is looking to talk to you. Across the board, Paul, it was great talking to you yesterday. Look forward to the continued success of your campaigns with Chiirp. And if anybody needs anything, we are here to support, getting you in touch with the team from Chiirp or One SEO with any of your needs, and appreciate your time today. We will be able to get a copy out if you signed up for the webinar, obviously back out to you for recap, and appreciate everybody's time, and hopefully everybody has a great day. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. so
Bill,
much, guys.
Bill, just want to say, we genuinely appreciate everybody hopping on today and taking time to watch this. Bill, we genuinely appreciate our partnership with One SEO and appreciate you putting this together. So.
Cool. All right. Listen,
Cool.
guys, have a
Guys.
great rest of your day and go tackle them.